Things are changing in the world, so we in education have to move with those times as well.
The 14 to 19 reforms are actually about personalisation of learning.
I think it's very important that if students are going to go out into the world of work, that they have the ammunition that's going to make them successful.
The biggest change has been bringing in a bit more of the modern-day perspective of how science is used in the real world. I think before, when we used to teach science, we didn't really overly look at it. It was a sort of cursory remark, and now it's completely integrated within the actual courses that we run.
I've learnt about things that go on in hospitals, like x-rays and MRI scans and stuff, and it's really interesting to think that it's in a hospital and I understand it more.
I think by reinforcing that concept of how it impacts on their everyday lives, they'll have a greater understanding of the world around them.
It's a sign, 32.
In this school, we've introduced a key stage for functional skills, which has been set up with the local workplaces to get pupils leaving school with more functional qualifications to help them do the jobs that they're going to be doing when they leave school. I have a group that do functional skills for one lesson, and then they come back to me later on in the day and do normal, everyday GCSE maths, and they do see the difference, and you do get great feedback from the functional lessons, and that's why we've tried to develop it whole school.
I want to be a teacher when I'm older, but I didn't used to like maths when I was younger, but I love maths now.
The Inspire Centre has been designed to work very much like an office workspace. Students will come in and they will work on live briefs that have been set by local employers.
In September, what happened was we were given a project by Grand Engineering to redesign a logo that was more simplified and actually stood out.
Hey gang, as you can see, the van, it's all liveried up. The old vans we had, they were too busy. They had too much stuff on them. No one could see what they had. The font was abysmal and everything. So we just said to them, just come up with something nice and simple with good font. And that's what they come up with. It was brilliant. And now they're going to design our website.
As you can see, we've sorted the image out. On the sign, can you see where the speed sign is and the trees behind it?
Yeah, yeah.
You could basically just rub that out and put the trees over it.
Great.
For a student to actually sit in a meeting, understand what's needed, and actually be given good, solid IT and business advice, it's really refreshing.
And I've been in the business environment and seen what it's actually like. It just makes me think there's so much more I can do.
At first, I must admit, I was a bit apprehensive because, you know, genuine kids of today getting a bad press. But I thought they were absolutely fantastic.
In a school where you are academically quite successful, those children who don't fit that mould feel a bit outcast, really. They feel that they haven't got a way of being successful. So what the Foundation Learning Tier does for us is put in a strand of qualification which they can feel positive about and can achieve and see a progression route through on.
What's the primary function of your blood?
The group of children that I work with fall off the radar. They've grown up in an atmosphere where you are only successful if you have 5 A to C's. For the first time, they're looking at it and thinking, actually, I could actually do this, I could achieve something.
It's like easier to work in a small group because like when you're in big classes, like you've only got a teacher shouting at everyone because no one's paying attention. So small is like much better and easier to understand.
Learning for those young people and accreditation is in small, bite-sized chunks. And so they can assemble a set of units to form a qualification that really interests them.
We've got GCSEs and it's got quite a lot to do with GCSEs like organ type and blood and stuff like that.
If they see that the qualification can lead on to something else, that there is a route way through into further education for them, just like anybody else. It's different, but it's going to be there just the same. And at the end result, they might end up with qualifications and a training for a job then they will feel valued.
I think the foundational learning tier is probably one of the most important educational developments in the 14 to 19 programme that we've seen for some time.
Point out that the poppy has then become the big difference between the old and new, if you like, is the reduction in the number of units. I think perhaps previously things were a little bit more prescriptive. It was very much teaching to text, teaching to examination.
There are now more texts available for them to choose from across all three genres as it was before, but they now have a wider reading list, so they can supplement their own learning and engage more with the teachers in terms of what they want to learn and what they want to do and how they want to progress. I think one of the criticisms of the old A-level courses was that we didn't prepare students for university life enough. Whereas because they're forced to become a bit more independent with the new course, they are making active choices, then I think it's preparing them far more for university life.